Hello and welcome to Shoryuken.com's Electric Wind God Vids, and today we're going to do something a little bit differently. Joining me is Mushin Z. Mushin Z is also working with SRK, and he is new to Tekken, and we are going to be taking him from the ground floor of Tekken and turn him into a tournament threat. And nowhere is there more ground floor than the beginner rank of ranked, and you recorded about a hour-long session with the same player, and
Yes.
we're gonna be going through some of the matches.
Yes.
Before we begin, real quick, just give me your impression of essentially baby's first Tekken. Like, what were some of the things you were having trouble with, etc.
Well, my experience with Tekken has been, or 3D fighters in general, has always been super casual. I mean, I was a casual player in general for all fighting games for most of my exposure to them. But Tekken especially was more of an outlier. You'd drop in a quarter, mash some buttons, and stuff would happen, and you wouldn't necessarily understand what was happening. Or I would try it on the console. I spent time with Tekken 3, and I spent time with Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. Always just very casual, superficial level understanding of the game. And I wanted to get into Tekken 7 more because the game has definitely evolved more. It's more intense. There's more options in the play. And my impression so far is that as much as I really like the feel of the game, I can sense that there is a massive amount of depth there, which is totally lost to me from my 2D experience. So I feel only maybe 20%, if that, generously, in control of what is happening with my character on screen.
And that is going to be the purpose of the session, is to get you in control of your chosen character, Kazumi. Why did you pick
Yes.
Kazumi?
Two reasons. I do have a soft spot for female members of the cast. She has a tiger, and I never got over the fact she has a tiger uppercut, literally. And based on more experienced players' impressions, Kazumi is effectively a good entry-level character, based on her moveset, based on how she operates. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she is beginner-friendly.
She is. She has a really good mixture of pokes, which are, I think, by design always going to be beginner friendly, and like as you learn the character, she has some more complex stuff. Some of her combos are not pick up instantly sort of combos like say Paul's are, but she's a character that grows with you essentially. It doesn't hurt any that she's very good just in general. So let's go ahead
Yeah,
and
most of the other characters in the cast.
oh no,
I
it's
was
fine.
going to say, most of the other characters in the cast that have caught my eye definitely fall to the more complex side, so I knew I wasn't ready for them, like Yoshi.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to play Yoshimitsu, but not yet.
Well, maybe we'll build up to Yoshimitsu. I actually happen to secondary Yoshimitsu, so that's a character I could easily ramble about. But today we're talking about tigers. Okay, so just go ahead and narrate your thoughts while as if you were reliving this.
All right. Not sure why I would start with the hop kick, except hoping to land a random hit. Now the 1-2 double punch into Tiger is just a favorite go-to move for me. I know I use that a lot. I think that's one of the few throws I landed on this guy. Because his law was way too pokey. I tried throwing multiple times and just couldn't get inside. And this was pretty early in our matchups. So he was falling to my sidestep chop Tiger more than he did later.
Nice throw break.
And I totally deserve that. But it still didn't work. I think with the Rage Art, I'm relying on the hope that, okay, I've got armor. He's going to throw something into it. He didn't fall for it, but obviously he wasn't ready to punish with his own. totally deserved the full punish. Now her rush punch, I find is also something else I tend to spam, because a lot of opponents, at least at the level I'm running into now, they don't seem to expect it. Later on, it doesn't work on him anymore.
When you say rush,
here he was falling for it. Here, rush forward. I'm not sure what the move is called.
That right there that turns into the tiger.
Solid punch out of the run.
Oh,
not the tiger. The tiger counter is a move I really like, but I like where the tiger jumps off of the opponent after absorbing the hit. I really like that move, but I have some execution difficulty with it still. I tend to not get it when I want it.
Did you see all the times you were
favor height?
Did you see all the times you were glowing white there, trying to get armor?
Yes, and this is too early. I know that Kazumi has her counter move. I think it's back and 1-2, where she could charge and she absorbs the high hit. Later on, I was using that more deliberately. I think at this stage, I hadn't picked up on using it yet. And it seems like he's also using more low attacks early on than he did later. Early on, it seems he favored really coming in with the high attacks. I remember really long block strings and just waiting for him to stop hitting high. And something about his spacing made me really want to fish with her tiger uppercut.
Okay, so let's start off with some of the things that I actually think you did right. I actually like the hop kick that you did at the very beginning, especially for the level of play that you're at, because it's going to be a while before you play against people that know how to punish hop kicks. Hop kicks are, and I think this is true of Kazumi as well, they're traditionally minus 13. That's usually at worst a jab punish from a good player. At best, you might get knocked down for it. So it's good that you're experimenting with hop kick now, because you're going to learn when it's good and when it's not. It baffled me that he stepped, because most players at the level that you're at right now are not going to be stepping a whole lot, and that is a segue for me to talk about stepping. You almost never stepped here. And before you learn anything else in Tekken, I really encourage you to get comfortable with moving. There was no stepping and there was no backdashing. Backdashing
absolutely not.
Yeah, backdashing is a chore. But let me describe it in a way that I think you're gonna like. You're obviously coming at this from a 2D standpoint. You're chucking lots of tigers. You're playing keep out. You're trying to intercept him when he's coming in. Kazumi is what I would call a light zoner. You can get away with some tiger throwing at a very long range, but if the opponent sidesteps any one of your tigers, you're dead. You're gonna eat a lot of damage. This guy probably not. He's probably not going to punish you heavily for it, but it's something to keep in mind. The reason why I bring up stepping as a complement to the sort of style that you're playing is you're on an infinite stage right now. Kazumi on an infinite stage with proper backdashing and sidestepping, you will never catch her. And that is one of the awesome things about her. Between tigers, between running 2, which is the running poke I think you were talking about earlier.
Yes, it is 2.
Yeah, she controls a lot of space, especially with running 2. Running 2 is one of the best running moves in the game. It's got really good range. It's -4 on block, so it's completely safe. The way to beat running 2 is to sidestep it, but it's very difficult to sidestep that move because it's based on when you do the move. So if you get your spacing down, and more importantly, if you just get comfortable with movement, these types of players that you're playing right now will never beat you, ever. They will never take games off of you. So I would advise you heavily to, before you do anything else, just spend some time sidestepping, get comfortable with sidestepping. To do a sidestep, you just tap up or down. To do a side walk, you tap up or down twice, and then you hold the second direction. The sidewalk is slower than the sidestep, but it covers more distance. Um,
Hmm.
and that's just some stuff to think about from like a mechanical standpoint. Now, as far as the moves that you were choosing to do, you do lots of 1-1-2, which is good. 1-1-2 is one of Kazumi's best moves. However, you need to learn to hit confirm it. If
Hmm.
we go back to the very beginning, at around, see if I can find that real quick. It was one of the very first pokes that
It
you
is.
did.
Hmm. It is an easy go-to poke. Like it comes out very naturally, just 1-1-2.
Yes.
So I do. I think I do tend to spam it at close range.
Go to 237. So 1-1 is Kazumi's fastest standing poke. Um, if you do a single one by itself, it's plus frames on block. So
Hmm.
one stagger one is a frame trap. If you do 1-1, it's -1 on block. So while you're technically at disadvantage, you can still pressure people. Like they have to be really on their toes to keep up with you there.
Hmm.
1-1-2, and this is the reason why I brought you back to this timestamp. 1-1-2 is -17 on block. So if
Ah.
you're so if your opponent blocks that, they get free whatever they want, basically. So how do
So there's
you
high safety as long until you commit to the two.
Yes, think of this like you would Fei Long's Rekka.
Hmm.
You're doing the first two and then hit confirming the third. Except it's
Hmm.
more lenient because you can do two of them instead of one. So the habit that I personally get into when I play characters like this is I almost always just go for 1-1 and then I try to visually confirm whether or not it hit or is blocked. And I think if you just spend like 5 minutes one time practicing that, uh, you'll get that down. There is a feature that's just random guard as the first action. Just take like
Hmm.
five minutes to practice that string, and I don't think you'll ever drop it again. It's one of the easier confirms in the game.
Gotcha.
Outside of that, one of the bigger things that I wanted to point out was your use of down forward two. In general, I just want to talk about this move, the Tiger Uppercut. Uh,
Yes.
so that move,
It probably has a real name.
probably, but who cares? It's Tiger
It's
Uppercut.
it's the tiger uppercut.
So that move, it has its ups and downs. The benefits to it is that it's considered a tech crouching move, but it's so much more than that. It actually can avoid mids. That's how low to the ground that she gets. Let me.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that makes me want to throw it out there. There's kind of a risk reward going on in my mind because I find that with opponents moving in, it catches them so often. So I get the positive reinforcement that, oh, I just landed that and it does a fair bit of damage. So it seems like a good risk to reward, except when it totally misses and you're wide open,
I had it, and then
which is also quite often,
I.
which is the part I tend to somehow keep forgetting.
So you actually opened the round with this. Um,
Yes, it worked on him more often than it should.
and it's going to be because he's the type of player that's not conservative. And
Yeah.
as you get better in Tekken, Tekken actually becomes a very conservative,
Mm.
patient sort of gameplay, not dissimilar to the way that high level Street Fighter is played. Um,
Well,
the
maybe at. Oh, go ahead.
uh, we talked about the benefits of Tiger Uppercut. Let's just talk about the cons real quick. Um, it does have good horizontal range, or I'm sorry, good coverage, like good range. However, um, it it's a little bit on the slower side when it comes to launchers. So if you whiff it or if it's blocked, you're dead. You're going to
Mm.
die. Rest in peace, Kazumi. Again. Um, the So the trick to this move is to either use it in a situation where you're basically 100% confident they're going to do a move that Tiger Uppercut will beat, or you use
Mm.
it as a whiff punisher. And those are really the only two times you should be doing that move. Also, Tiger
Yeah,
Uppercut.
this. Yeah, we can see at the beginning of this round, all he has to do, was that a backdash, or did he just walk backwards slightly?
He actually did backdash there. He didn't cancel it. It looks like he just blocked afterwards. But he did backdash. You can tell the difference between a backdash and just holding back because he scoots a little bit. There's a little
Yeah.
scoot. So another thing about the Tiger uppercut that I want to talk
Hey,
about.
he still failed his punish though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this guy's not going to punish
He
you.
should have come in with a lot harder.
So another thing I want to point out about Tiger Uppercut is that it's a combo starter. If you hit with that move, you're taking off over 30% of their life for free. So at the end of this session, I'm going to teach you a easy bait combo off of that. And the combos I'm going to teach you at the end of this, they're not optimal. They're not like tournament ready, but they're going to have elements of optimal combos that we're going to build upon as we improve.
Gotcha.
And I think that's it as far as this. Let's go ahead and go on to the next match. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and tell me what was going through your head by this point, because you've played a few games now.
Yeah, so already been at for half an hour. And it seems to me like our game has gotten to the point where it's entirely upper mid. Except for that.
Yeah, I like the crouch jab. That crouch jab was smart.
If I recall, the crouch jab was one of the few things I could find to stop his constant barrage. That was an accident.
It's fine.
Otherwise, I would have capitalized on that.
Oh, yep, that's game.
And that's a lucky rage art, where I actually did manage to leverage the armor.
So tell me about that.
Basically, the place where I went with that was waiting for an opening. How do I get into it? Except for that, when I could find the time to actually get out that counter, I found it was very effective, but I couldn't quite figure out the window as to when I needed to start the input to make sure it was active to catch his attack. And I also started looking at the damage, because even though I was countering him and I was stopping his aggression, I was still eating a lot of damage on my side from the counter too.
Yep.
So
those crouching jabs.
I'm just staying down here. I'm going to stay down here and poke until you go away. Managed to land one of those. I do have a habit of whenever they get fairly far away, I want to throw a tiger. Maybe that's a little bit of 2D zoning coming out. That's like, I just want to make you think about coming at me. But as you said, more advanced, you just sidestep it. Was I lucky this time?
That's gonna kill. Oh yeah.
With the rage arts, especially the way I'm using them, I'm not confirming into them. I'm not using them as a combo ender. I feel like they're a little too obvious.
They are.
Oh, that was one of the few hop kicks I managed to land correctly.
Yeah, rage arts are pretty bad in the long run. Think of them like bluffing in poker. Like, you don't want to do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. The Yomi in my mind was like, he knows I'm going to do it, so I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway. Sometimes it worked.
Yeah, I don't think the level that this guy's at, you have to worry about Yomi too much. I don't feel like he knows enough about what's happening for you to worry about. Yeah, for example.
Bam. I think my thought at that point was, why did I move in? Why didn't I just throw another tiger? That's what I like to do. Here's another tiger. But by moving in, I I lost my range advantage. Lucky uppercut. Now, I don't know the frame data, but I found at the end of those sequences, I could still get in the 1 and 2
Yeah, go
double
ahead.
punch tiger. All right.
So, let's talk about Law's jab string. Because that is definitely the centerpiece of pretty much all three of these, and it's cool. It's actually really cool that this is what was giving you trouble, because it gives us the opportunity to talk about something that's really specific to Tekken, and I guess Injustice, or sorry, not Injustice, Mortal Kombat, jailing. Have you heard that term before?
I have not personally, because I don't
J-
play Injustice. Oh, sorry, now you got me saying Injustice.
I'm
I
sorry.
haven't heard it in reference to Mortal Kombat.
Jailing is a
I can figure out what it means by context.
yeah.
But
Jailing
proceed.
Jailing is the concept where you block like, say there's a string that has two highs in it. You block the first high, and the second high cannot be ducked even though it's a high, because the string jails you. You are locked into place into blocking that second high. So the string that Law is doing there is 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. I think you can do up to 5 ones. The string does not jail, so you can actually duck at any point during those jabs and do whatever you want. Kazumi, when she ducks, she has two options. She can either do crouch jab, which is what you figured out on the fly, but you were still kind of unsure about that string to deal with it, all the time at least. Or she can do while rising 2. Her while rising 2 is the only. No, I'm sorry. She has two while rising attacks that are considered ducking. While rising 2 is a launcher, so anytime that you duck a high, you can do while rising 2 and get a free launcher, basically. Are you familiar with while rising attacks?
I haven't intentionally done them yet, so I'm going to have to practice them.
All you do is you crouch, and then you let go of the stick, and as you let go of the stick, you press the button.
So it needs to be in between the crouch and the neutral.
Correct.
Like by neutral, I mean neutral position on the stick.
Correct. Yes. And every character has them. While Rising 4 is the fastest move for most of the cast from crouch, and it just so happens Kazumi's While Rising 4 is the other While Rising move that she has that crouches. So you could do that too if you wanted to. It's a little bit safer than While Rising 2, but While Rising 2 is where all the damage hides.
So essentially, after any single one of those jabs, I could have dropped and responded with a while rising move.
Yes, except.
Or would the accept?
Except, so you notice that sometimes he would do 1 1 1 1 1, sometimes he would do 1 1, and then like he'd suddenly start hitting you from mid. What's that about?
Yes.
So at any point during that string, Law can do 1 1 2. Or you can do 1 1 1 2 or what have you. Once he starts doing 2, the 2 jails. And it's high, mid, high. So it's worth it to go into practice, and we'll actually do this at the end of this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But basically, once he switches hands, he can do a mid. If you duck and get hit by the mid, the following high will combo. If you just block and recognize that the mid's coming, you can duck, and once again, you can just duck the high. And that's that backhand that he does, is the high backhand. And we'll go over that in more detail at the end of this when we play. But basically, if the Law player knows what he's doing, he can mix up the mid and the high, whether or not he does it. This guy was pretty committed to just always doing the high, mid, high ender.
Yeah. Even before he mixed it up, he preceded it with a long string of ones.
Yes. Absolutely. And if he commits to those ones, that's a free launcher for you pretty much every single time. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, and I want you to look at all the damage that you took from that parry and then compare it to like what you actually got out of it. Um,
Yeah.
it like
I mentioned that before. I was thinking that.
yeah, so that parry is not very good. It if you whiff it, they get a free basically whatever they want, and if you actually parry something, you're still vulnerable to taking damage. And worst case scenario, it's actually possible for them to jab you and then block, and sometimes they can block the tiger. I really,
Oh.
I really heavily encourage you to just remove this move from your arsenal. There, there are ways that you can make it work in very isolated incidents. I'm sorry, very isolated instances, but
Hmm.
on the whole, it's not worth it to go to as often as you go to it. If you're gonna use a power crush move, Kazumi has two other power crush moves that I think you should use in their place. Forward two is a high power crush move that knocks down, and then she also has forward two, which is a mid power crush move that makes the tiger come out. Um,
Yes, that one I have used, but I wasn't conscious of it being of the difference between them being high and mid.
What's awesome about forward two is it's safe on block.
Mm.
So if you
Oh, but the double forward, like the forward two, is not safe on block.
Correct. So that's a general theme in this game. If a character has a power crush move that's a high, it's safe. If a character has a power crush move that's mid, it's unsafe.
Ah, okay.
That is the general rule of thumb in this game. And depending upon what the character gets out of their power crush, sometimes they're really unsafe. For example, Lily, her power crush move is launch punishable, but the trade-off is that she gets a combo from it.
Hmm.
So that's all stuff to think about. There was one more thing that I wanted to go over. Oh, rage art. So there was a point where you blocked the rage art, and you I think just walked forward and grabbed. Um, Rage arts in this game, they're all unsafe in some way or another. The vast majority of them are just unsafe on block. So as soon as the flash happens, if you know that you're going to block it, I honestly just recommend mashing out a launcher. That's a free like tiger uppercut for you every single time.
Mm.
The
That would be. I know. Often my punishes on the failed rage art on his side were not near as effective as they could have been.
Exactly. As you get better, you're gonna find that rage arts are just not that great in the long run because you can bait them. There's a lot of stuff that you can do versus rage arts to just absolutely destroy them. There are some characters that I'll give you an example with Miguel. Miguel can actually knock someone down, see that they have rage art, and then intentionally do down forward one, and if they do the rage art, he cancels into a stance that blocks the rage art. So
Mm.
he gets to do damage on them and bait out the rage art and kill them basically. So there's a lot of stuff like that in this game. The only exceptions to what I've described are any characters that have high rage arts. That's going to
Mm.
be Steve and Jin off the top of my head. Their rage arts are safe on block, but you can duck them.
Mm.
And there's one other exception. I'm going to mispronounce his name because I always do. Harwang. Um,
Yeah.
his rage art is mid and it's safe on block because he's a cheater. He's the only exception to all the rules that we've just discussed.
Okay.
And one other thing I want to point out, your use of 1+2, I actually like that you use that move. However, it is unsafe on block. It is -14. Let's consider replacing 1+2 use in the future with down forward 1. Down forward 1 is a frame slower, but it's completely safe on block, and you can hit confirm it into a string that knocks down.
All right.
Uh, I actually really like that you use 1+2 because a lot of characters don't have 12 frame mids, and she just happens to have a 12 frame mid. So you can actually do cool like frame trap stuff with it that other characters can't, but it comes with a cost.
See, again, I hadn't studied the frame data, but I felt that the startup on it was very quick.
It's very
Why I
quick.
think,
Yeah.
which is why it kind of subconsciously became a go-to like opening 1+2.
It's actually crazy. She can do 1+2 to punish hop kicks, for example. Like there's actually super legit reasons to use 1+2. You just have to be careful if you ever run into someone that either A, knows how to punish it, or B, just likes to mash jab after they block stuff, because jabs will auto punish that, even if they don't know that it punishes it. Jabs will punish it, and that's another reason Kazumi's so good, because even if you don't know something punishes, you could mash jab after you block and find out. And that's pretty good for that match. Let's go ahead and go to the last one.
Yep, Tiger uppercut opening. That was back into this.
Do you see the mid right there?
Oh,
can you visually see the mid now that I've described it to you?
Yes. I don't think it was intentional. I think that was an execution error. Because that's not a move I typically use. But now I need to learn it.
Nice. That was a good interrupt.
Frames.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it was a double KO.
Oh, I picked this match for reasons.
I'll see. He's going directly into the 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the backhand you described.
Yes. Yeah, he does have that option.
So many tigers. Oh. I feel like a cold tiger uppercut like that shouldn't work.
It shouldn't.
It feels natural when I do it, but watching it is like, that's so obvious. Right, boot to the head.
Yes.
Right. I got eager. I was fishing. That trade-off wasn't as bad.
Did you see that
It
tiger?
still hurt. Yep. There were a few instances where the tiger just didn't help. The tiger was further away than he was.
So
with a crouching jab.
So there was a lot of very funny stuff in that game that made me smile. So at the very end of that last round, did you see the parry that like you parried like 4 jabs and it did the same amount of like your parry did the same amount of damage as the damage that you took?
Yes, I was seeing that. Yep, bap, 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 bap.
So that's another reason why I picked this match, was just to be like, hey, be mindful.
Without knowing my options yet, I was conscious of it. I was watching the meter go down after because I've got time. I'm seeing all these jabs pile into the parry, and I was like, fine, we're both taking damage. This is where this goes. It's not smart, but it's like, let's gamble. Let's see who comes out on top of this damage trade.
I hope
you're right. It doesn't have to be a trade.
Yeah. I hope that seeing this will get this out of your system now, because I don't want you to be in a situation later where Paul death fist you and you're trying to parry and you just watch your life bar go on vacation. It is the tiger call right here. So if you're gonna be zoning with,
where's the tiger call?
It's
I'm not seeing it. I keep missing it somehow.
It's a few
32?
seconds later. It's 34-35.
34-35. Well, I'm like a whole minute off.
Sorry.
So there's good odds that there would be a tiger there anyway.
There's always a chance of tiger when Kazumi's on the screen.
Yes. It's like, I saw it, like random tiger, random rolling tiger.
So that rolling tiger, that move is not very good. And I really encourage you, if you're gonna zone with tigers, use the other tiger. The reason why I say that is because the rolling tiger has more recovery and less range. The only benefit to that tiger is that it's active in front of Kazumi longer. So if someone doesn't know how to deal with it, they might accidentally get hit by it. And like
I think that aspect is why I was using it as a go-to. If I sense that if they're going to be a slightly closer range, I tend to want to bring out the roller
yeah,
as opposed to the roller instead of runner at slightly closer range. Because I want that. I want the tiger to be there longer.
generally,
But the recovery time is an issue.
yes, the recovery time is a huge issue, and if they block it, there's still a chance that they can punish it. It's minus 31 on block.
I think that's happened. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I've seen it happen.
It's a liability, and the sooner you get that out of your move list, the better. You can make it work. I shouldn't write it off completely. The reason why I say that is because I've seen Bloodhawk use it on Oki. It's really good in Oki situations because it covers a lot of the options that an opponent can do. But if you're wrong, you're super dead.
One drawback about it I already consciously noticed was because of my perception of, okay, they're closer, I want to zone, but they're in the closer area. I go to the rolling tiger, but I'm too late, and they move in, and I guess the hitbox of that tiger goes right over them. So double bad.
Yes, exactly.
They're already inside, and I'm like wide open for recovery, and it didn't even put them in any kind of blocking or avoidance situation. They were already on the inside of it. I saw that happen a couple of times. I think in this series of matches, and it's happened to me before too.
I just watched the parry again with all the chats. It's so funny. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and go to a player match. So let me invite you, and I'm going to show you some stuff that you can practice. I'm going to give you homework. I'm going to give you 5 pieces of homework to practice
Awesome.
in between now and the next time you record. So the first thing that I want to show you is you did not do any lows at any point during your match. So I'm going to show you 2 lows that are really, really good for Kazumi. The first one is down back 3. So down back 3 is it's very fast. And if I remember correctly, you know what? Hold on. Let me give you an exact number because I don't remember off the top of my head. Luckily, I pulled up the frame data just in case that happened. So it is +0 on hit. So I can yes. So if you are pressure heavy, like you can do stuff like this and really lock people down. If you think they're gonna, yeah. And you can see how you can do stuff like that with it. The other low I'm going to teach you is down back 4. This low is slower, but it's +3 on hit. I'm sorry, it's not +3, it's +6. So it's even better than I thought it was. So when you land this move, it is your turn. They cannot do anything. Yeah. So like that, this is absolutely vital to like rush down with her. And also that's the other attribute of it is if it hits on counter hit, you get free tigers. How cool is that? Practice doing 1-1.
Yeah.
And then like once you see the second one, base it off of that.
Wow. I saw it, but it was too slow.
So that's what I want you to practice next. If you go into practice mode, set the dummy to guard all. I'm sorry, set the dummy to random guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Set the dummy to random guard, and then just practice doing 1-1-2 versus it. Anytime you see the block, just don't press 2. You have a lot of time to press the 2. Like you can actually super delay that string. The next thing. I can actually tell you this without demonstrating it. You just need to punish 1 Rage Art. The next time that you record, I want to see you punish 1 Rage Art with a launcher. Next homework is to do less of 1+2 and do
less than 1+2
and do more of down forward 1. I'm going to show you real quick why down forward 1 is so good. So down forward 1 is super annoying. It has pretty good range.
Okay.
And there is a second hit to it. It is unsafe. As you can see, it is unsafe, but it's not like super unsafe, and they have to sit there and wait. If they're waiting, that means you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hit confirmable. Basically, yeah. The way that you hit confirm it is.
Does the two like crumple when it hits?
Yeah, it knocks down.
Yeah, knockdown.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
It's a good move. The last piece of homework that you have, and this is gonna be the one that requires the most effort. I want you to do a combo. I want you to do one combo during your next session, and in order to do a combo, I'm gonna have to show you one. So.
Jab.
You can duck at any point.
Alright. It looks familiar. I think I did it, but I didn't realize that I could.
You did it the first time that you saw it.
And then I forgot I could do that ever again.
Yes, which happens. Another thing to note, if you do happen to get pegged by one of them, don't worry about it because the
pushback on the mid seems quite. Wow, there we go.
Yeah.
You followed it up that time.
So the mid, there you go. See? Do you see how it works now? And he can do that from this too. And if he just stops at mid, it is safe. So a smart wall player is going to stop there.
Yeah.
But if he does do that, and you know he's going to do that, he's at -6, so he loses his turn basically.
Mid.
There you go.
So what can I do that's better than that?
Wall rising 2. So crouch.
Wall rising 2.
Yes.
So
Crouch.
the wall risings are new. So
There you go. That's it.
wall rising 2.
Yep.
So that's why that happens.
Yes.
So
There you go.
what was the? I don't understand the move you were doing with Kazumi earlier that you were charging.
Oh, that's key charge. That
Key charge.
Yeah.
What's key charge?
every character, if you just press all 4 buttons, they
Oh, it's all.
yeah.
Okay.
So what that does?
That's totally new to me.
So here,
What have I accomplished?
everything that you do while you have that effect is considered a counter hit. Also, you can't block.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's
like it's a Makoto rage thing going on here.
yeah, it's pretty not good, honestly. I just do it because it's a quick way to get a counter hit. Also, Law for some reason can do that with his.
He can charge too much.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time.
Good times.
Nope.
No, thank you.
Hey,
This is mutual benefits.
Yes, I hope everyone watching this learned something too, even if it's the martial law infinite charge thing. I hope there was something new in this video.
Follow.
So that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I will see you next time on Electric Wind God Vids.